and creating new institutions in their place. What you're hearing now is a more radical revolutionary language from the younger activists, that it's not just the military institution that's the enemy, but the state as we know it, as the modern Egyptian state has known it, is the problem. And we have to fundamentally rethink the relationship with the state. We have to end the state as we know it. Now that can have a lot of implications. I think one implication is that there are no longer any state institutions in Egypt that can play a mediating role. And this is what's so dangerous about the coup and the aftermath, is that you see the full and total politicization of Egypt's institutions. No one now can claim to be above the violence or above the fray. And actually, in one of my interviews in Doha from a senior leader in Jama'ah Islamiyya and their political wing, he told me, he actually said, you know, we need to have guarantees for any potential reconciliation, but guarantees need a guarantor. But there is no guarantor within Egypt itself, because there's no one that is trusted by both sides because of this politicization. So it's very interesting. He actually floated the idea that the US could be a third-party mediator between the opposition and the regime at some later point. But anyway, the point here is this politicization of state institutions makes reconciliation very difficult. And it suggests to me that there's going to be more violence, it's going to be bloody, and I think that Egyptians have not yet exhausted their tolerance for brutality and violence. But you hope that at some point Egyptians will look back at what happened this past year, and in particular on August 14th, and say, what happened to us? How did we lose our humanity, and how do we account for this? There's going to have to be truth and reconciliation. People are really going to have to ask difficult questions of how they turned against each other in such a brutal way. So thank you.
Okay. There's a lot of meat for a lot of questions, I'm sure. And I'm going to